Magandang araw, ako si Kui Code. Welcome back to my channel where I teach Python through fun and practical examples. Today we'll be continuing to dive into software design patterns. So in this video we're going to be talking about the prototype method. So the prototype method design pattern in Python enables the creation of new objects by cloning them, cloning existing ones instead of just making a whole new one, which makes it more efficient. It reduces overhead as well. So this is very useful when the cost of creating an object is high, especially when the initial state or the configuration is complex. So with the starting code that I have here, we have our prototype abstract class here, and then we have a child, which is just the enemy prototype, and then for the enemy, we just have an orc with health, speed, damage, and we're not just going to clone the enemy as it is, we're going to add some variation to it, so each one is going to be slightly different than the previous ones. So first thing we're going to do is do our init method. We're going to have self, name, health, speed, damage, and then we're going to initiate these. Spelled that wrong. Self.health equals health. Self.speed equals speed, and self.damage equals damage. Okay, and then we just need to override the clone method, so def clone. That's not how you spell clone. And I have random and copy imported up here as well, which you may have noticed. So we're going to clone equals copy dot deep copy, pass in self. So this basically just creates an exact copy of the object here, and we're going to add some variants to these properties. So properties will have health, speed, and damage. And then, so what we're going to do is we're going to pick two properties randomly that'll go up, and then the other one will go down, just so it's not, too strong. So we'll have increase, props, random dot sample properties, well, two of them randomly, and then decrease prop equals next prop for prop in properties if prop not in increase props. Increase props. So simple enough, we're going to pick two randomly, and then whichever one is not in increase props, we're going to just decrease that one. That way it's always, it's always different. If we have health and speed on one, damage is going to be lower. If we have speed and damage on one, health is going to be lower. And if we have health and damage on one, then speed is going to be lower. That way we have different types of enemies that all work differently, and they're not super strong and super fast and have super damage. So it definitely makes it more balanced and kind of more enjoyable. And then what you would normally do in a game is you can even just change the way that the sprite looks. Like if the monster has more health, then maybe it'll be twice the size. That way you kind of know. If it's more damage, maybe it'll be more red, and if it's have more speed, maybe it'll be like more green, or whatever you want to do really. So now we need to apply the variation, and we're going to add some variance, like it's going to be maybe like 10 to 30% higher or 10 to 30% lower for each one. So we can use set attribute. So we pass in the object and pass in the name, pass in the value. So the object is clone, the name, increase prop, which is, first we'll do health, which is 0, and then get attribute clone increase prop 0, and we're going to multiply this by random.uniform, and we're going to 1.1 to 1.3. So it's going to pick a random number between 1.1 and 1.3. It's going to take that value and multiply the existing property of the clone object, and then it's going to set it to that same property of the new object. So you're basically looking up the health, randomly modifying it, and then just overwriting it. And then you're going to do the same thing for the other one. So we can just kind of copy and paste this. Except this one is going to be 1, because increase prop is going to have 2 options. So make sure we get the second one. That's going to be both the same. And then for this one, it's going to be decrease prop, which is only a single value or single property. So we can just do that. And same thing for this. And we're going to multiply it by, instead of going up, it'll go down. So 0.7, and this one will be 0.9. So now we have our 3 properties of the clone object. Now we can simply return clone. And we'll also add in a override the string dunder here. Self, which is going to simply, how do I put this? When you call print on the object, it's just going to default and just return this instead of giving you a bunch of other, nonsense. Which I can show what would happen if you actually didn't override that, but we're going to return this. So we got the name, the HP is this, the speed is going to be this, and the damage is going to be that. So now we have our original object here. And just to kind of show, if I just print out base orc like that, and let's say we don't have this, then it just looks kind of, oh, that's not supposed to, where did I miss? Let me just see where this went wrong. Wait, what did that even say? Forgot a comma? There's a comma right there. There's a comma here. Oh, this goes here. This goes there. And this one goes here. Right, so if you just have the default print, it just gives you this, which doesn't really mean anything. But then if you have a method for overriding the string, then it's going to give us something more useful, which is literally, it has 100 health, it has 10 speed, it has 20 damage. So this is the default, but if we just copy this, we'll actually call clone, and then we'll just copy and paste. Now we get a bunch of clones, and what happens if we were to, oh, I messed something up. I just had a typo in the prop somewhere. Let me just double check. Where am I? Let's see here, decrease prop. Oh, I forgot to do next. Actually, no, I did that right here. So decrease prop next, prop for prop and properties. If prop not in increase props, that's fine. Let me just read again what that says. Because line 21, increase props 1 is not defined. Oh. This is supposed to have an S. This is supposed to have an S. All right, there we go. So now we have all of our objects, and notice that each one is different. So in this case, the health went up, the speed went up, and the damage went down. And in this one, is the same thing. The damage went down, the health and speed went up. And these ones, the damage went up, except for these two, the speed went down, and then in these two, the health went down. So now we can just copy and paste this as much as we want. Like imagine you have a system that spawns random monsters, and you at least want them to be different in terms of how they're changed, just to make it more interesting. And of course, you can just add in, a bunch more properties if you want. You don't necessarily need to have these. Like, I can't really think of anything on the spot of what else you would add, but I'm sure people who like making games could be creative in that way. But that's it for this video. This video is pretty short, so if you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe, and of course let me know in the comments if you have any questions or suggestions for future videos. See you next time on Code. Paalam.